Hi, I'm Dr. Kat. I am a clinical psychologist and narcissism coach. Please join me in helping victims of narcissistic abuse by subscribing, liking, and commenting. In this video, I will discuss the connection between unhealed childhood wounds and one's vulnerability to narcissistic abuse. Childhood serves as the cornerstone of our emotional development, molding our perceptions, behaviors, and vulnerabilities. Victims of narcissistic abuse often find themselves entangled in toxic relationships due in part to the unresolved wounds from their past. Let's delve into some of the psychological dynamics of how unhealed childhood wounds amplify vulnerability to narcissistic abuse. Let's explore 10 core reasons why these wounds render individuals susceptible to abuse. Then we will discuss 10 manipulative tactics narcissists employ to exploit these vulnerabilities. How unhealed childhood wounds render individuals vulnerable to narcissistic abuse and becoming emotionally dependent upon the narcissist. Number 1, abandonment issues. Childhood abandonment, whether emotional or physical, can instill a profound fear of rejection and abandonment. Victims often crave emotional security, making them susceptible to narcissists who initially provide intense affection and love, hence creating dependency. Number 2, neglect and emotional abuse. Victims of neglect and emotional abuse may carry feelings of unworthiness and seek validation. Narcissists exploit this by offering praise initially, then withholding it, perpetuating the victim's reliance on the narcissist's validation. Number 3, low self-esteem. Childhood wounds from verbal and emotional abuse can lead to severely diminished self-esteem. Narcissists recognize this vulnerability and employ tactics to further erode self-worth, fostering the victim's dependence on the narcissist to provide them a sense of their own self-worth and value. This is very dangerous. Number 4, codependent tendencies. Victims from enmeshed or codependent family dynamics often seek external validation. Narcissists isolate victims, deepening their dependency on the narcissist for emotional sustenance. Again, very dangerous. Number 5, people-pleasing behaviors. Those who learned to prioritize others' needs over their own may fall prey to narcissists who exploit this eagerness to please, gradually escalating demands while never reciprocating in return. Number 6, emotional neglect. Growing up in emotionally neglectful environments may leave victims starved for emotional connection. Narcissists provide this initially, but later become withholding, intensifying the victim's emotional deprivation. Number 7, insecurity and fear of rejection. Childhood experiences of rejection or criticism can result in a deep-seated insecurity. Narcissists exploit this by initially showering affection and later using criticism to maintain control. Number 8, lack of boundaries. Childhoods that lacked healthy boundaries make victims more susceptible to manipulation, very susceptible. Narcissists violate the most basic of boundaries to exert control and make the victim feel helpless, thus fostering, again, dependency. Number 9, desire for approval. Victims who craved parental approval may seek it in romantic relationships, making them vulnerable to narcissists who offer that validation initially and, as usual, withhold it. And number 10, fear of abandonment. Growing up with inconsistent caregivers may result in a profound fear of abandonment. Narcissists trigger this fear by employing intermittent reinforcements, keeping the victim hooked on petty crumbs of affection, believing that should be enough. Now, let's outline 10 manipulative tactics narcissists employ to exploit these very vulnerabilities. Number 1, idealization and evaluation. Narcissists idealize victims initially, then devalue them. This is a repetitive cycle, creating emotional turbulence that fosters dependence. Number 2, love bombing. Excessive affection and attention create emotional attachment, making victims feel cherished before the narcissist manipulation begins. Number 3, gaslighting. Narcissists distort reality, causing victims to doubt their perceptions, fostering dependence on the narcissist's version of the truth. This is never good. Number 4, the silent treatment. Isolation and silence play on abandonment fears, leaving victims desperate for reconnection and validation from the narcissist. Number 5, triangulation. Introducing third parties, real or imagined, stirs jealousy and insecurity, amplifying victims' fear of abandonment and rejection. Number 6, projection. Narcissists accuse victims of their own flaws, triggering feelings of confusion and self-doubt. Number 7, future faking. Promising a better future exploits the victim's longing for stability and love. Number 8, victim blaming. Narcissists manipulate by blaming victims for their abusive behavior, triggering the victim to feel guilt and shame. Number 9, dismantling boundaries. Violating personal boundaries erodes a victim's sense of self, making them feel unsafe, unprotected, and extremely vulnerable. And number 10, hoovering. Narcissists periodically return after discard phases, luring the victims back with promises of change, creating a cycle of hope and disappointments. Unhealed childhood wounds can significantly amplify vulnerability to narcissistic abuse. Understanding the link between these past wounds and present susceptibilities is so important for victims. By acknowledging these vulnerabilities and recognizing the manipulative tactics narcissists employ, victims can begin a journey of self-awareness, healing, and ultimately empowerment and liberation. Healing begins with self-compassion, a commitment to breaking free from the cycle of abuse and reclaiming one's emotional well-being and autonomy. If you like this video, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment talking about your own experience with narcissistic abuse. If you would like to schedule a consultation with me, I will leave a link to my website down below. Till next time.